America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
We're losing our democracy!
Wake the fuck up.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Wake up!
Before we get into that, let's get into this. We are indeed losing our democracy, people. Welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, live stream Friday, as we do every Friday. Well, except last Friday, we were a little bit busy. I don't know what happened. It seemed like a good week to take the week off, and we did.
And ingest some giggly caps. It was beautiful times.
Right. All right. Yeah, joining me as always, my co-host Liberty Swine. How you doing this week, sir?
Doing damn fine, man. Dealing with the heat, making that skrill, bro. You know, watching
Right.
fucking liberals burn and the West fall. How about yourself, Doc?
All right, roughly the same, man. Trying to not deal with the heat. I'm trying to hang out in that AC as much as I can, bro.
All right.
Right. Yeah, milking it for all it's worth. All right. Don't die out there, people. Don't die out there, man. Fucking air conditioning.
Liquid IVs.
Lots
all
of
around.
water, liquid IVs. Those things are fantastic. Yeah, stay hydrated. But anyway, as I did mention, we were off last week, and man, what a week to be off. We missed an entire war. So we did go through the so-called 12 days war. Well, I guess if you could call it that, it was more of a surgical strike. There was a whole big old, split divide among the Trump voters at the beginning of it. Got a little bit rocky in the middle of the road there, and then all of a sudden at the end there's a whole bunch of I told you so's and finger pointing, and now everything's all good. We'll be talking about that. New York City has not quite, but at least the Democrats have nominated a communist, a Muslim fucking communist.
A Muslim pro-LGBT
foreign-born fucking communist to be the mayor of
rapper,
the biggest city in the fucking world, right? Yeah, so we'll be talking about that. It's Zohran Mamdani. We're talking about that guy. There's lots of SCOTUS decisions that took place today. Of course, one of the big ones was the block of these district judges doing these universal injunctions, where they're basically becoming more of activists rather than anything, and just trying to push gigantic federal law from their judicial bench in their small district, wherever it is that they may be. But either way, so the Supreme Court put an end to that today. They also agreed on a decision to allow a fucking Muslim parents in Maryland. They decided on their lawsuit to allow themselves to have their kids opt out of these LGBTQ indoctrination, these pro LGBTQ books, all that type of stuff, in schools, and based off of off of their religious beliefs, right? So we're going to be talking about that, and the Senate has went ahead and removed the Hearing Protection Act and Short Act. Sad day, man. So I mean, the big beautiful bill. We'll be talking about that. It's less big, less beautiful. It's less all the way around now at this point.
And
so
don't
we
forget
talk
a hilarious turn of events for Kill
Right.
War. Abrego Garcia's is
returning to the United States just to be deported again. Right. We'll be talking about that. But of course, the big thing, the 12 days war, man. So a war took place while we were out there napping and whatnot. So did you? I'm pretty sure you couldn't have missed it. Of course, last Friday, so about 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, because Israel had just done their strikes, which took out several of the Iranian leaders, which of course was a red flag, for everybody. Red flags went off all over the place. Everyone was freaking out. of course, it was Israel at the time. The whole fiasco at the time was whether or not Trump knew about it, whether or not he was on board, whether or not he okayed it, or whether or not the Iranians were just acting on their own. Well, turns out, Trump knew about it. And he went ahead and followed up with his own surgical strikes a few days later. Of course, Donald Trump's surgical strikes being very, very effective and actually destroying several of these nuclear research facilities or bases, what have you. I'm not sure the term they're using right now.
Facilities.
Right, enrichment facilities. Destroyed several of them. And of course, at that point, everybody was biting their fucking nails. We had people on both sides screaming this, screaming that. We didn't vote for this. Peace through strength. We had some ridiculous clips. We'll be definitely going through some of those here in a little bit. And then several days later, just when things couldn't get any more heated, the MAGA party is divided. What does MAGA mean anymore? Is it make Israel great again, or what's going on? Iran agrees to a ceasefire.
Mega.
Right. Iran agrees to a ceasefire. Iran sees the light, sees that Donald Trump's not fucking around, sees that Donald Trump, he means business, and he's going to get stuff done. And that he did. And, there's a little bit of aftermath, a little bit of blowback afterward. But ultimately he got stuff done. And even today it's saying that there's talks between Israel and Gaza for a ceasefire as well too, coming down the pipe here real soon. So real quick, get your thoughts on all of this, and we'll go into some of the more details of the early onset of this.
Well, I mean, pretty hilarious, right? The left-wing media was the biggest laughable culprit in this situation because, no matter what the stakes, they always have to take the opposite side and downplay any, would-be accomplishments or how, detriments, however you look at it. I mean, everything's always, if it has to do with Trump, you can't have any sort of win. They didn't necessarily take it out, and apparently it came from a low-level leaker, that had to do with, something to do with the defense industry. And, it was a preliminary, and you could see, the Google Earth shots, the before and after, when the places are, pretty burned out, hollowed out, crushed, little holes poked in the top of mountains. And, that's what bunker busters do, right? 30,000 pounds per. But on the same tip, just like when we were talking about, the Iranian or the Israeli strikes, of course, then I was saying I don't support, helping these cats out, so on and so on. I still don't. Again, I'll say it for the 100th time, like you were just saying, I didn't vote for that. You know what I mean? That's the least of my concerns. And, but in Trump's defense, I mean, there's videos all over the inner zones of this dude saying the same shit for like 15 years.
Right.
That, that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. I think, but like most things, it's a talking point, a rallying cry, basically, just to, try to get the troops to go along with it. It's also kind of playing off the whole taco thing, right? Trump always chickens out, which was gay and retarded to begin with, but it didn't stick. But I think that was part of it too. He had to show he is about business and he doesn't chicken out. Overall, of course, I'm still MAGA, but that's not what I want to see. Not only the possibility of starting a larger conflict, but just Americans dying for Israel, tax dollars going for Israel, so on and so on. And this is not I'm against the country, right? I'm against their secular government and the piece of shit lizards that always tend to run things behind the scenes here and there are the real issue. You know what I mean? But that's where I stand on the shit, man. But in regards to the military aspect, good going, guys. Right? You did exactly what the fuck you were supposed to do. Mission was successful as far as that's concerned. That's one thing that you'd hope would happen with a $1 trillion fucking price tag to our military. But there it is. No one else could have done that.
Right, absolutely, man. So I don't know if you heard Dr. Steve's kind of breakdown of this kind of in the middle of it. So of course his was before the ceasefire, and he kind of did a pretty good breakdown of both sides of the argument within the I guess a supposed split between the MAGA crowd, and he did a pretty good job of it. So he broke it down between two political views, basically, and he called one, of course, the Hawks, the War Hawks, and then the other one was the Doves, of course. So of course we'll go ahead and run through these real quick, but we'll start with the Dove argument. So of course the biggest one, the most important one, was that we did not vote for this at all, right? So it felt like a gigantic betrayal. It felt like it must be like, when you get out of a fucking abusive relationship or something like that, and then you finally like get yourself, into someone that seems like they're a good person. You're like, oh, don't worry, it's never gonna happen to you again. Like, different here. You're like, no, and then fucking a couple of weeks later, it's like, no, just yeah. It's like, oh shit. It's the same, And so that was kind of the biggest thing was, it felt like a more war in the Middle East, exactly what we elected Donald Trump not to do. Right. That was like one of his big things that he ran on. But of course it did, end up working out for peace in the end. At least thus far, we'll see. The other big thing was, this more than likely going to escalate, right? More than like, of course, this was the argument at the time. This was like, okay, yeah, Iran's not just going to back down. Iran's really kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. Either you go to war with the United States, the United States goes ahead and wipes you out, regime change, yada yada yada, and you die, or you back down and you say, we don't want no, we what nukes? We never wanted nukes anyway, and then you end up getting regime change because the people of Iran end up fucking booting you out, and they fucking end up tearing you apart in the streets. So I mean, either way, like I said, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. But so nobody was really kind of expecting it to go that quickly. Of course, we'll still see what remains to be seen of the aftermath. From what I do hear, I guess their supreme leader was saying that it was a victory for Iran, right? Apparently, that's the propaganda.
Basically saying that the U.S. didn't do shit.
Right. Yeah. So he's trying to say that it was a victory for Iran and all this and that type of shit. America backed down. Yeah, and so it didn't. Obviously that's not what happened. So Donald Trump's, I guess, putting out a statement. I'll see if we can find that in a minute too.
And then another thing that was shit is, he announces that there's going to be a ceasefire. It's going to begin in 12 hours. And then, like he said, then Israel proceeded to drop the largest, contingent of bombs he's ever seen. It was absolutely asinine. He's upset with them that you don't say there's a ceasefire and then drop everything you can on them before it kicks in. That was ridiculous. Them blatantly trying to escalate the situation. And
Right.
Just like with Gaza, I mean, they're known, they're a warlike people, man, always have been, and they go overboard, man. You know what I'm saying? And they lose public support every fucking time if you think about it. And war's bad enough. I mean, we're not one to talk, right? America's, we've committed our own, heinous acts throughout the years, obviously. But this is a country that relies on us for its fucking existence, basically, and they just kind of think that they can do whatever they want. I mean, it's almost as far as they're going for full control of the Middle East at this point.
Right. And that's if it really does kind of quiet down that whole argument of the United States is just the puppet of Israel and all this and that type of shit. I mean, really, it does kind of, if you look at it from like just I guess kind of a equivalent macro or micro scale, it's kind of like the little kid in the fucking playground and shit that has the big giant friend and shit like that, and the big giant friend is the United States, and the little kid's just over there trying to pick fights with everyone because he knows that he's going to get defended by his big giant fucking friend. That's really
Except for except for the smaller friend fucking has his hand on the bigger friend's wallet and fucking
Right.
vastly controls the majority of it. I mean, and you love like cats like Tim, like how they always like the guys that talk about Israel, that's all they care about is why they're just obsessed. Why aren't they talking about fucking Sudan or Zimbabwe? And it's like, bro, because those countries don't fucking have hundreds of members of Congress fucking in my country under their fucking control. And regardless if it's through funding or Epstein style blackmail, whatever the case may be, we'll probably never know. That is ultimately it. Like if you heard Marjorie Taylor Greene on Tucker today, like I mean, she even said that in Congress there's like something like 135 members that aren't even born here. You know what I mean? That they're obvious representatives of different countries, whether it be Somalia or fucking Palestine or whatever the case, man. But ultimately, the vast majority are tied to Israel. I mean, Massey said him and her are the only ones in Congress that don't have an Israeli handler.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it too is a lot of the ideology. Like we saw with Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson. And a lot of people really do have that religious ideology or that religious interpretation of that Israel is still the chosen
exactly
people.
Like you said, their interpretation. That's exactly, you hit that
right
on the head right there, bro.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't agree with that interpretation at all. But yeah, there's really people that still have that interpretation of that. And of course, I'm still fairly new to Christianity, but I mean, in terms of from what I've heard, I mean, that's been a pretty popular view among American churches for quite some time. So yeah, I do think that does have a lot to do with it, and I do think that's why a lot of Americans, I guess, specifically more conservative Americans do have a bit more of a kind of like soft spot or a kind of a sort of ideological duty towards Israel. But in terms,
it's almost pure brainwashing, though. I mean, that's who fucking killed
really
Jesus,
is.
right? Right.
Right.
I give a shit. That's why you saw Ted Cruz. By the way, that was one of Tucker's greatest fucking episodes.
Right. Actually,
Just
I have a
demolished
bunch of
them.
clips pulled up right here.
Yeah, because his arguments were childish as fuck. You know
Right.
what I mean? And how he just kept immediately trying to resort to, well, you're an anti-Semite. Well, you're an isolationist. Well, you know what I mean? Self-preservation and strong defense at home does not equate isolationist, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? What gets you out of that isolation bubble is fucking trade. You know what I mean?
Yep. All right, so let me see. I have like I said, a bunch of these Tucker and Ted Cruz clips pulled up. So we'll just go through a couple of them. Hopefully, we could find that one. I'm not sure if this one's it, but we'll see. There's quite a few of them because, like you said, it was quite
Crushes them.
What?
He crushes them.
Right, yeah. There was quite a few to pick from. I mean, Ted Cruz was made to look quite like a fool out here.
I'm asking about your allegation and the Prime Minister of Israel's allegation that
Iran is trying to murder the president. Killing terrorists is a good thing. Killing people who are trying to murder Americans is a good thing. Because if you're America first, you want to protect America. And so killing Osama bin Laden was a fantastic
But you don't
day
really
for the
believe
world.
that they're trying to murder Trump, or you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Then why aren't you calling for military action against Iran right now?
Because they're not very effective. In terms of hitmen, their hitmen are not very effective. I do think...
So they're hitmen, but not the bad kind, the efficient kind?
No,
what are you saying?
They're a weak country who is on its knees, and I think we need to...
Then why are we so afraid of them? Why are they the biggest threat if they're a weak country that's on its knees?
Because they're trying...
I'm trying to keep track.
They're trying to develop... Be a little less snarky.
I know, you're right. That is a problem I have. I'm sorry. I'm asking about your allegation and the Prime...
All right. So what do you think on that one? Of course, obviously they've said several times that they would like to kill Donald Trump. But of course, in terms of their ability, that's slim to none. If even that, if you'd even give them that, I mean, I'd say it's next to impossible for them to be able to kill Donald Trump. But do you think that there's any actual credible threat? Because of course that was one of the threats that did come through after the other two assassination attempts on Donald Trump during the campaign as well. Was another one from Iran, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
They said that there was two people with ties to Iran that were, supposedly plotting or what have you that they were aware of. But
So
dude, like
how
I think that they pose no threat to us. I think that the only
same.
way that they could do anything here is through, a terror cell that came through the border during the Biden regime. The best they could hope was to maybe get some of that enrichment into Mexico to be smuggled over for like a dirty bomb or something. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's definitely no way that they would be able to send a nuclear weapon over here and actually strike America. That shit would be shot down long before it ever got into American airspace, man.
Right, and that's the one of the other arguments for the Dove side, that it's basically that Iran is not geologically a threat to us in any way, shape, or form. Right? They cannot, they can't they can't move people here in any way that we wouldn't be able to see them. They can't send rockets over here in any way that we wouldn't be able to shoot it out of the sky and completely crush them before their rockets even get scheduled to land. There's zero possibility that they could actually touch us on our land. Other than things like terrorism through sleeper cells
Right.
and things like that. In which case, the best thing to do in that case would be to worry about securing the homeland and things like that.
And
And
that's what's, with the left trying to, decry ICE, they're
Mhm.
fascist Nazis. I don't know if you've seen, just in California, they just did an ICE raid where they apprehended 4 people with Iranian ties, 2 of which were on the terror watch list. And they were in a house that was associated with human trafficking. You know what I mean? So, like, they did come through, but it was under Biden's watch. And, sleeper cell, just like you mentioned. And that is the only way they'd be able to pull something off, man.
Right. Because at the same time, I mean, just as Ben Shapiro is fucking ideologically and fucking, religiously bound to fucking Israel first, Muslim people are ideologically, bound toward, Islam. And so, I mean, it's really getting not, it wouldn't be difficult to get people over here and just be peaceful, Islamists. They just go to their mosque and, they do their weird prayers and lay on their mats and whatnot. And then next thing fucking 20 years down the road and shit like that, they just one day like, oh, I got some orders. And, yeah, I mean, that's very much a possibility, I mean, these people are quite literally life bound toward this ideology or toward this. It's religion, it's religious ideology. This one just happens to be very, very violent and destructive. It spreads through the sword rather than through the heart. So
I hate that, how you got to make that differential. Like, what a weird group of people, right? It's like, well, I'm genetically fucking Israeli. Well, you know what I mean, or Jewish. Like, I'm religiously Jewish. I'm not genetic. Like, dude, fuck, man. You know what I mean? You're a bunch
Right.
of goofy ass
Right.
white kids trying to differentiate yourself from the rest of white people as you destroy everything that you. I mean, I ain't even gonna ramble. We'll just go.
Right. I mean, dude, that really is the problem with Israel nowadays. That makes it to where it can't be, the dispensationalist view of like, oh, I'll bless those who bless Israel, because Israel is not the same Israel from the Bible. It's basically, in which case you could fucking, especially from the fact that they were, expelled from that land for quite some time until, the after World War II, when we basically, sliced off that piece of land and went ahead and set them there. Of course, that is the biblical promised land from the Bible and stuff like that, which again, if that was meant to be, then I mean, I'm pretty sure that it would be from a spiritual awakening where Israel were to come back to God. But that's not the case in modern day Israel. Right, modern day Israel is a completely different place from the Israel of the Bible. Modern day Israel is, it's mostly secular for the most part, and it's much more of a just a state that hides behind the shield of Judaism, of the poor Jews, Israel. Oh, hey, I got my Israel card, and that's basically what they are, what they've been, for basically since their rebirth, post World War II. So yeah, really just the idea that it's you could quite literally slice off any other section of the world, move a bunch of Jews there, call it fucking Israel, and then all of a sudden we need to defend this place with all that we've got. This is the Holy Land. We've moved the temple over here, so now we must defend this place for the Jews for all of eternity. And yeah, so I mean it doesn't make any sense other than the fact that it seems like a ideology that people use, or an interpretation that people use basically to try and gain total control of the Middle East.
Yeah, for sure. I was trying to find these statistics where they did this genetic study in Israel, and they said that something up to like 90% of the population there have no actual fucking genetic ties. You know what I mean? No Hebrew fucking genes, basically. That it's all Khazarian fucking Jews, the straight up communists, man. You know what I mean? That's all we did. We took land from other people and gave it to a group of communists that now just run around trying to start problems and blatantly corrupt societies with fucking, gay and trans and communism, socialism, all the isms that are, a detriment to society, comes from, Jewish literature and ideas. I mean, and even, Dennis Prager said it himself almost verbatim,
Yep. All you got to do is just go down to Israel, change your name to fucking Goldenblum, whatever the fuck, Goldblum, something like that. And, then you got the shield, man. You're good to go.
Yeah, and then apparently if you have ties to Israel and, you get charged with some type of child sex crimes around the West, all you got to do is flee back home and Israel will protect you. They'll prevent you from being extradited and you'll never face fucking justice, man, because that's totally acceptable as far as the Talmud's concerned.
Right. Yeah. Let's go ahead and check out this clip real quick, and then I want to bring up another issue with the on the dub side.
How many people live around?
I hate that term.
I don't know the population.
What, the doves?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty weak wristed. Like, just because you don't want to go cruise around the planet fucking, murdering people out surely doesn't make you a dove. I understand, the concept, right? With, that was the whole symbol of peace and whatnot. But, like, again, I believe in peace through strength, but peace through strength doesn't mean bombing foreign countries for something that you have nothing to do with. You know what I mean? Peace through strength is the threat, the ability to do so, and the threat that you would do so if needed. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll talk about peace through strength in a little bit, because that's pretty much what the entire, War Hawks argument was, right? I mean, of course, there's the whole, nuclear, Iran can never have a nuclear bomb. Trump said that, and of course, there's, definitely quite a few other things, but we'll get into that, because that was really the kind of the main the main argument was, peace through strength, peace through strength. That was the kind of the rallying cry on the neocon right.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah.
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly...
Okay, it's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
claims... know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
Who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. If you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, this.
I wonder if that was a bit of a slip there. Wonder if old Teddy knew, like, we're carrying out strikes today. I mean, I mean, they were doing it.
He probably did know because they did let it Republicans in. They just hid it from
Yep.
Democrats because they'll leak the shit because they're fucking a terrorist organization.
Right. Because they practically, some of them are probably from fucking Iran in one way or another.
You're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
I'll bet Ted Cruz never thought he'd be on You Can't Cuck the Tuck, Doc.
Right.
I'm only trying to get to the question of what AIPAC is, and I don't think you're being straightforward about it. AIPAC is...
Oh, here we go. Bringing up the AIPAC, right? The funding.
Lobbying on behalf of the interests of a foreign country, and they're not registered. And you're saying, no, that's not true. You're saying that they don't coordinate with the Israeli government.
Of course, I coordinate. They talk with them. I don't know what they do.
But why don't you care? Isn't it meaningful if a foreign government...
Hey, I talk with Israel all the time.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Countries all the time.
But the law is, and a lot of people are prosecuted under this law, that if you are lobbying on behalf of foreign government, you must register. That's it. It's really simple. And I don't know why, if I'm working from Malaysia or Qatar or Belgium, and I'm working on behalf of its government's interests through a group of Americans who are representing the friendship between those two nations, I have to register under the Foreign Agent Registration Act. And if I don't, I can go to jail. And people have gone to jail, including people I know. So I don't understand why we don't just be honest and say they're lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. They're coordinating with the government. You know that that's true.
That is not only not true, that is false.
They're not coordinating with the Israeli government?
Tucker's a killer, man. I give a shit. I know that you got a lot of people out here like saying, he's controlled opposition, but I think that at one time he may have been, not through fault of his own. He admits to it and says that, he was brainwashed into supporting things. Now he realizes we're not the way to go. But ultimately, I think the dude speaks his mind. He's highly intelligent, even though he likes to downplay his own intelligence, and just fucking crushes people on a daily basis, man. And this is obviously Ted Cruz, as far as Republicans are concerned, he's always been held up as this A1 debater, super intellectual. But he's showing here that is obviously not really the case, man.
Yeah, he definitely got crushed here. I mean, but yeah, like you said, Tucker Carlson, he's really seen the light, and I think that his biggest regret is his support of the war on terrorism, and so I think he's trying very hard to not make that mistake, and that really does kind of bring up the whole thing about like I said, there's a lot of people out there like told you so and stuff like that, and of course they have the right to do that, but at the same time I still appreciate the people that are still trying to be at least principled, at least objective, because I mean great, cool, you got fucking Iran's nukes destroyed and stuff like that. I'm sure they're going to start right back up again, and you deterred them for another couple of years, like awesome, good deal. But at the same time, where's the arrests? Where's the fucking Epstein files? Where's the fucking where's fucking Fauci's arrest? How come Fauci is still fucking walking free today, living in fucking mansions and shit? Like where's the fucking justice for any of the other shit? Like, cool, yeah, you fucking bombed Iran, good deal. Where's every fucking thing else? I mean, obviously we're gonna be talking about it a little bit later, but like fucking shit, dude, where's the fucking suppressors even? Fuck, dude, where's the short-barreled shotguns and shit like that, dude? Like, fuck, where is literally anything, other than cool, you guys fucking bombed Iran. Good deal. It lasted, several days. Everybody was fucking shitting their pants for a little bit. And, but either way, long story short is basically, it's a good thing that, these people, as though they may have been wrong, incorrect in this circumstance, I think it's still good that we have people on our side that are willing to, say the opposite, say the unpopular thing, or say, basically, this is wrong. This is not what we voted for. This is more of the same old, and this is bullshit. Because of course people have more than enough right to be upset. And I think a lot of the people on the Warhawk side, they really showed, if MAGA is a fucking cult, they really showed who the fucking real members are. I mean, because there's a lot of people out there just like, Make America Great Again isn't about like economics or liberty or anything like that. Make America Great Again is about Trump. Like,
right.
No, it's not. Like, Make America Great Again is about like, the ideology of making America a fucking great superpower again. It's not, make Trump fucking great.
I think there's a whole lot of actors that realized, the political, wind change, and they jumped on that, capitalized. You know what I mean? You got a bunch of fucking rhino Warhawks that fucking bought MAGA hats, and then they're running around trying to tell you you're not MAGA because you don't support fucking Israel. You know what I mean? And I even had people during this time when I was, posting my thoughts on the situation, and people privately messaging me. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfollow, dude. You're like the leftist terrorist. Like, no, bro. Like, you can hold two thoughts at the same time, which is I don't give a fuck about either side, son. You know what I mean? And you can be MAGA and know that the gutless jellyfish that the Republicans are, they still love to kill people. Maybe that comes along with weakness. Fuck, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's there. And the establishment hasn't gone away, and it regardless of who's in control, the head resurfaces from time to time because it's not going away. It's just biding its time. It has a little over 3 years to go, and I'm sure it'll be back in control regardless of which form of the duopoly it takes.
Right. Yep. I mean, there's a cyclical nature to empires, and it's for a reason, I think, it's strange, I mean, we have people here that are well versed in every fucking thing that took place all throughout, American history. But I mean, dude, there's fuck, dude. It only gets to take the whole Middle East conflict, for example. And it's like fucking, oh, well, you bombed us fucking, 10 years ago. You bombed us fucking 5 years ago. You bombed us 25 years ago. You bombed us 45 years ago. Yeah, but you bombed us fucking 35 years ago. Yeah, but you fucking took us over, 60 years ago. Yeah, you took us over 85 years ago. You took us over 95 years ago. 157 years ago. You guys took us 300 years ago. You guys fucking took over this land. 455 years ago, we took over this land. 700 years. Like, it's like,
right.
It gets to a point where it's just like there cannot be peace here. There can be no peace in this land anymore because everything is so divided, and everyone has a scapegoat, or everyone has their whatever fucking reason it may be for the reason that they think the other guy is fucking evil and shit like that. And ultimately, a nation that divided can't stand for very, very long. And so I think,
definitely. I mean, without common fucking beliefs, we've talked about this before. Without a common core of beliefs and a moral system, you can't stand. And I mean, even our founders let you know that the Constitution was written for a moral and just society. You know what I mean?
Right.
High trust fucking society. And between the people that we've let rule us, and we've let import, regardless of legality, is destroying this fucking place around us, man. The place is on fire, and you got a large swath of either it's fine or let's make the fire bigger because I don't like what it is. I mean, it's a rough area here. It's hard to think that if we have a true comeback, a method, even if Trump in the next 3 years pulls off the miracles and really lights up the economy, all this kind of shit we're rolling. As soon as he's gone, it's going to go right back to destruction and fucking cutting kids' dicks off.
Right. Because of course, we're not handling the actual problem, and that's the problem is, like you said, domestically, it's all this anti-American stuff, so that's why I say, like, oh, it's fucking great, he went and bombed Iran, but how come the Department of Education hasn't been completely dismantled yet? How come we don't have fucking school choice all around the country yet? Like, how come this, how come that?
Yeah, and we've had a lot of judges stand in the way with shit, but even the deportations, man, at the current trajectory, by the time he leaves office, they will have deported like 10% of the people that came in under fucking Biden.
Right.
That's you talk about, that's not what I voted for. Even the morphing into, well, we're concentrating on criminals, and no, they're all fucking criminals. They came here illegally. We voted for fucking mass deportation, son. You know what I mean? And that's where the whole spineless fucking Republican thing always kicks in, dude. You know what I mean? They get the ball rolling, get people fired up, dude. We got a plan, even explain it in great detail. And then as soon as they have the power to do it, it's fucking, well, we got to slow it down a little bit. It's always, man, always.
Right. And that's my whole that was kind of my whole upset thing about the not necessarily blocking, but the naysayers and stuff, and the principled fucking people on the the blocking of the whole big beautiful bill at first. Of course, like we said, they still had the votes to get it through, even with the naysayers and whatnot. But nonetheless, I mean, that just basically
not
gives
in the Senate. You know what I mean?
Right. Obviously not in the Senate, and of course that gives the Democrats an emboldened stance, so that way they could, like, oh, well, you don't have the votes and stuff like that. Maybe we'll vote for you if you make some concessions to us and stuff like that, because of course your own side's not gonna fucking push your own shit through. And of course, like I said, it just gives the Democrats more fucking leverage, even if they were to, still side with the Republicans in the end, during the whole negotiation and all the sweating and everything.
They would use it as a win. They capitulated. They folded.
Right. And that's, again, we're going to get to it later, but that's already what's taking place today with the Hearing Protection Act and the Short Act that has been removed from the big beautiful bill. So now it's just a big fucking spending bill with a little bit of fucking savings at the end.
But I mean, right. And I agree that, you want that in there. I mean, fucking abolish the ATF, right? But at the same time, like, that's where those principles kick in, because you got fucking cuck ass Republicans, and some of them I like. Rand Paul, right? Obviously, I like the dude, but this is where was your principles for fucking years? It's just been speech. Now you have the power to actually help Americans and fucking your own party. And it's, whoa, because my principles and monies is like, bro, we're almost 37 trillion in debt. It's already completely fucking insurmountable, man. So if we don't spend money the right way to try to actually and fucking increase productivity and whatnot, it's just going to keep going on that same trajectory, and we'll be at that debt total fucking before you know it, regardless, and we'll have nothing to show for it but more fucking interest payments. You know what I mean? Like, you got to fire up the fucking machine, son.
Yep. What's that saying? An evil man will burn down his own empire and try to reign over the ashes. A weak man will watch his empire burn and then try to reign over the ashes. And that's pretty much what fucking
because they're standing on principles, right?
Right.
I mean, even with Massey, like, I want tax cuts too, but I can't fucking vote for spending without spending cuts, which is logical. I understand, but dude, taxes are set to shoot up if the bill doesn't pass. You know what I mean? Biden's tax increases will kick in rather than Trump's tax cuts. Like, you're actually fucking us. You know what I mean? And then they keep wheeling it down, even like the no tax on tip shit. Now they've excluded like stylists, barbers, like different groups. They just keep fucking with it. And it was supposed to be fine-tuned, not gutted and turned into the exact opposite of what it was supposed to be, because they'll still spend that fucking money. It's just on their own pet projects. Then it's okay. You know what I mean?
Big, beautiful bill looks like a whore now. It's not very beautiful anymore.
Right. Fat piece of shit with lipstick.
Nice fucking.
I mean, it wasn't a great bill to begin with, right? I mean, adding $5 trillion on it is what it is, and I understand the whole principled aspect, and especially the old school libertarian fucking debt is the death of a country, which it is. But dude, we're there already. Like, fuck, dude. Spend the money on something good for once.
Like I said, I wasn't too happy about it either, but in fuck, dude, like at least fucking the Short Act and the Hearing Protection Act made it bearable, you know. It's like, dude, now it's, you know, fuck, dude, like it's like, okay, it was much more of the same shit that we had before, but now we get fucking suppressors and, you know, fucking and short barrel rifles and shit like that. Now it's just much of the same as we had before, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing with the war in the Middle East, man, is the argument on both sides was gas prices. Right, gas prices are gonna go up, man. We got another war in the fucking Middle East, man. Son of a bitch. We even saw temporarily fucking the futures market spiked for a second. Fucking futures market went and had a fucking meltdown for a second. Of course, it's already been back, and of course, I believe it's even fucking lower now than before.
It is, and you know, ultimately we could feed ourselves, bro. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's just a matter of firing up the fucking machine. We got plenty of fucking crude oil under us, and we produce higher quality fucking fuel than a huge portion of oil producing countries. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, come on, you know, it's just a way to panic, and then it's also to shift blame. Like California, because of their restrictions and shit, their oil industry there is about to go belly up. I mean, there's even talk of projections of up to $10 a gallon of gas in California. And of course, if that happens, you know, then ultimately they could have just been like, oh, well, that's because Trump's out here fucking bombing the Middle East and stuff. Fascist Nazis is.
Right. So didn't you guys also like raise taxes and then raise like the taxes on the taxes of taxes taxed on the tax for taxes?
Yeah. What is it in California? Something like 30% a gallon.
It's just fucking insane.
Taxes.
That's nuts, man. Yeah, those people are fucking insane, man.
Clown world, dude. They do the same. I mean, it's, you know, the old saying, dude, trying it again and again for the same results, man. It's fucking insanity, dude. Like they just double and triple down. They're like, oh, that didn't work. Fuck, do it again. We must. It's the old. That wasn't real socialisms,
right? It's because we haven't had the right leaders as yet.
Right.
Right.
I kind of feel the same though. I mean, don't you? Because like you were just saying, all this shit hasn't happened. It's like, you know, I guess we voted harder and
all right.
I mean, it's still only 6 months in, but 6 months, I mean, you know, again, I quote Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, she again, watch that Tucker episode. You know, she's saying herself, it's been 6 months. They haven't done shit. It's like, you know, you just fire everyone up. MAGAs, 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 vote for us, dude. We're going to fucking quash all this Democrat nonsense. Right. And then it's like, oh, we're off on vacations.
It's the worst fucking fascist regime I've ever seen, dude. This is not the fascism I voted for, god damn it. Like
I worked more than these people when I was like 15. You know what I mean?
Right. More fucking vacations than you could fucking count. So what I want to talk about real quick about the possibility still for blowback, of course, because as we know, this is Donald Trump did not just usher in peace in the Middle East for the next 100 years. You know, obviously, fucking, you know, this is going to come back eventually. You know, they're going to use this as, oh, you destroy our nuclear enrichment plants during the Donald Trump regime, and now we're coming back for you. And now we destroy your power. You know, now we hack your system. You know, what the fuck ever. You know this is going to go blow back in the end. So, what do you think of the whole? Obviously, you know, it was the big saying during among the libertarians for the Middle East wars before the war on terrorism, you know, the whole like, oh, we walked in there, we could just walk right out, you know. Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, like on, you know, kind of on the smaller scale, you know, it's really kind of like, you know, if fucking somebody were to walk into my fucking house and, you know, just fucking smack my fucking kids and tie my fucking family up and start fucking punching me in the face and shit like that, and then they just like walk right
turn
out
their back and
right. Like, all right, see ya. Like, fuck no, dude. Like, I'm gonna find out who those motherfuckers were, dude. Like, I'm gonna go fucking hunt those guys down if it's the last thing I do, you know. Like, it's not as simple as like, oh, we'll just walk right out, you know, we'll never see you guys again, you know, have a good one, good luck, peace. You know, it's just not that simple, you know.
While the Don's in office, it may be like that. And ultimately, you know, if it ends here, as far as we're concerned, he's done what no other president could do but promise to do, because we've been at war basically my fucking entire life, and that's how it's always been. Oh, it's just going to be 2 weeks, or you know what I mean? It's what we'll crush them in 7 days, and then even if that part succeeds, but then it's like they come up with a reasoning that we need troops on the ground and we got to spend $1 trillion, and a decade later we still have fucking people stationed there.
Right. Shit, we have so many fucking people stationed everywhere, man. So many people stationed.
900 military bases in 100 countries, bro.
Right. We're not doing nothing, man. Like we ain't up to no good, man. It's all right. You guys don't trip.
Yeah, if anyone was really focused on fucking, debt, to GDP ratio, I mean, dude, come on now. Why the fuck do we got bases in Germany still? Why do we got bases in Korea still? If you want to go strategic, for China, I mean, dude, we have the great launching pad of Alaska, and we in the process of trying to buy old fucking Greenland, dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but ultimately that's what we have Alaska for. Fucking oil and, staging fucking area.
Right. Yeah, that's why we're trying to get that Greenland, man.
Right, exactly. That'd be even better, and we ultimately have a base there too. So,
right. We don't fuck around, man.
Right.
But all right, well, let's go ahead and switch on over to the war hawks arguments, right? So, of course, the obvious one, Iran can never have a nuke, right? So, as you mentioned, Donald Trump has been saying that for over a decade now, it's that does seem to be the whole reason that this whole thing took place. Obviously,
the whole reason that he kissed the wall.
Right. Right. But at least from what's being reported and whatnot, at least what's up on the upfront. That basically, it was just to go in, do some surgical strikes, to go ahead and get rid of these nuclear enrichment plants, and get the fuck on out of there before the Iranians even know what the fuck happened. And that is basically what took place. Of course, there was the couple of days of people just like, oh, we're gonna have to see what Iran's gonna do. You're like, oh yeah, maybe they're gonna try and fucking awaken some of those sleeper cells over here. It's probably gonna be a terrorist attack or something like that, and Iran's gonna claim responsibility. There's a whole bunch of people just on the edge of their seat, and then of course this the ceasefire comes through. So it really was I think 99.9% Donald Trump, and 0.1% of just this surgical strike, because I mean we've had these capabilities and stuff like that, but Donald Trump's really just the one that's got the balls to use them. So I don't know, what's your thoughts on the whole Iran could never have a nuke thing, right? There's obviously a couple aspects to this. There's what would they do if they had a nuke, and the other one is the Middle East would then suddenly have a bargaining chip, basically, within the world.
Well, I mean, the Middle East, Pakistan has nukes, you know what I'm saying? And Israel has nukes, regardless of how they try to hide it. You know what I mean? That's the Samson option. I mean, we know about it,
right.
But it's
let's be more specific. These jihadist Muslim countries. Rather
Pakistan's got nukes and fucking I think that they would fucking nuke Israel. I mean, as far as what they would do with it, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them at all. I mean, you're talking, sub-Saharan IQ levels, right? The scientists are few and far in between there. I got to imagine that's why take out a couple of them, and apparently they're set back for years now or whatever. But as far as them, they can't have one. I mean, who the fuck are we to say that? Because we're the second largest holder of nuclear weapons. So I mean, shut the fuck up, right? And also the money that constantly spent to be the police of the world. That again, that's not what we voted for, right? We voted to rein that kind of shit in. But I also see the logic in it because of the tendencies of the people in that region of the planet, man. I mean, they're warlike people, regardless of, Israeli or Arab. They seem to always be in conflict. it's a mixed bag, I guess. But ultimately, we fund Israel to the tune of billions of dollars a year, give them all these weapons and shit, and that's their closest neighbor as far as what's supposed to be an ally. Like, why can't you take care of it, man? I understand they don't have the bunker busters, but there's other ways and weapons they could have used. Ultimately, man, I mean, so they supposed to be so good at espionage. Fuck, use it, dude. You know what I mean? Melt that
Right.
bitch down, whatever. I mean, and that's always my case. And I care less if it's isolationism or what have you. I just don't want us involved. But I guess if you're gonna be put into place, fucking do your job well.
Right. Oh shit. Let's see. So the other
Yep.
one was
Incoherent babbling, dude, all fucking to lead up to the same shit. I just don't want us involved.
Do you think
Like,
that it's just interesting because what you're now doing?
I think this one's the clip I was looking for. All right, so it's fuck, I lost my train of thought for a second, but either way, I think this one's the bless those that bless Israel clip. But yeah,
I was
yeah,
talking
fucking
about
right,
end times and fucking
right. But I forgot. But yeah, the whole thing with Iran and never having a nuke and stuff like that. So in terms of Iran never having a nuke, do you think if they were to get a nuke and then launch it at Israel, what do you think that the result of that would be? I mean, personally, I think that they would just kind of, obviously they would see it coming, they'd kind of shoot it out of the sky. It would it wouldn't I guess cause very much destruction, but ultimately I think it would result in basically a assured destruction for Iran. And ultimately the whole thing with this nukes, as we've talked about before, is it's basically giving a nation a saber to rattle at another nation. That's basically what it is. I mean, really, ultimately, if these nukes were to ever start being used in a basically in a haphazard way, it would obviously be devastating. So I think ultimately a lot of people would really kind of come together and just like, it's really kind of like whenever that drunk guy at the party just starts like waving around a gun and shit like that, and just like, oh, everybody just kind of fucking tackles him and like, yeah, whoa, fucking takes his gun away and shit like that. I think it'd be something similar to that. You know what I mean?
to an extent, but I think that you got to remember that gun, would not only take out the party, but in the entire fucking city. And it's you'd be a little more scared. You know what I'm saying? A little more hesitant to try to grab something if it's if it goes off, it's gonna fucking kill everyone you know. You know what I'm saying? Like a little
Oh,
different. And don't get me wrong. I think it could very well be used as such, right? A deterrent. Other countries do it, on a fucking regular basis. But like again, I mean, you just got to focus on the fact that these fools are warlike, and maybe it is just rhetoric, right, to hold power or what have you. But they have been screaming death to America for fucking decades, man.
right.
But at the same time, Israel's been saying they're 2 weeks from a fucking nuclear weapon for decades. So I mean, it's you know.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, yeah, ultimately that results in Israel losing their scapegoat. But I mean, if so, ultimately, if Iran were to hit Israel, I mean, probably it would take out Israel. I mean, ultimately, we're fucking safe. We have zero fucking threat of Iran having a nuclear bomb over here in the United States whatsoever.
But you'd have every war hawk on both sides just absolutely fucking let's decimate the Middle East right now.
Oh,
And
absolutely. That's why I'm saying that's what would take place if Israel were to actually get hit with the nuclear weapon and they weren't able to shoot it down one way or another. I mean, ultimately, most of the world would have a slightly smaller headache for one, and for two. I mean, I think ultimately that would result in you know a lot of death and destruction over in that part of the world. But I ultimately think that would also result in the complete collapse of the this jihadi Islamic regime in the Middle East as well too, because I think ultimately the like I say, the people are just gonna fucking fold in on them.
Yeah, and you'd think at some point they would have done that already, because I mean, like I said, it's constant conflict, man.
Right. Well, I mean, in the meantime, it's a fucking piggy bank, dude. It's a fucking cash cow, you know? Like, fuck, man. War in the Middle East, man. There's been more fucking money made off of war in the Middle East than any fucking business that's, been, come out of America. Like, fuck, dude. Like, it's a good racket right there. You know, they don't want to lose that. But of course, with them getting a nuclear fucking bomb, that'll probably cut that fucking racket off real quick. You know, it'll dry up that fucking money stream faster than, I don't know, some fucking old lady, you know?
Yeah, and it blows for them because it is a cash cow, but it could be an even more cash cow if they tried to industrialize or run their country
Right.
like it should be. I mean, super rich resource fucking countries. I mean, not only oil but lithium and cobalt and all this different shit that they just could be making fucking trillions of dollars on. But instead they'd rather focus on things like trying to build a fucking weapon and telling you it's for cancer research or whatever,
Right. Shit, dude, they got fucking, child labor and all that shit too, dude. They come on, man, just let us make you a little bit of China. Let's put a little bit of that fucking come on, slap a little bit of those China factories up in you. Yeah, you'll be all right.
Right, except for like American factories though. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just another way to sidestep fucking China.
Well, that's what I mean. Like fucking it's what I mean by China factories, not factories from
Right.
China.
Like little kids in there assembling Nikes and stuff.
Right, exactly. We could have
suicide nets and whatnot.
Little Middle Eastern kids instead of little Chinese kids.
They're not as adept though. They fucking, you know what I mean? It's a different
right.
Fucking, the bell curve, bro.
Right, but then again, I mean, suicide's not in their within their religious bylaws, and neither is fucking interest, man. So I mean, you got them, bro.
The interest, but suicide's part of jihad.
Right, I guess.
They come to work strapped up like they're with the Nike factory, man.
Right. Fuck, man. It's the third one this fucking month. Son of a bitch. Right. So, regime change, man. We talked a little bit about a regime change and how it was somewhat of an inevitability. So, do you think regime change is going to come on its own, or do you think the supreme leader has averted this political fiasco to be able to continue ruling for however much longer?
Yeah, I think that dude's like got to be close to death, man. He's like 80 something years old or something. You know what I mean? I don't see it happening on its own. I see the dude stay until he dies. That's when regime change is going to happen. You know what I mean? And again, I don't support us being involved in that, and not for the obvious, just I don't want to be in it, but for the simple fact that they're in power because we instituted regime change previously. You know what I mean? And that's the repercussion, and that's how it always works out. We've done it time and time again, and then they always end up being our enemies afterwards. I mean, fuck, we armed and trained bin Laden to fight Russia. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's always the same shit.
Right. But real quick, let's watch this this Tucker Ted Cruz interview video real quick.
Do you think that it's just interesting because what you're now describing in a very defensive way, I will say, is foreign influence over our politics?
No.
And you began, and it's so transparently obvious to everybody. I don't know why you'd be you sincerely for Israel. Believe you. I don't think you have some weird agenda. You seem to be sincere.
By the way, Tucker, it's a very weird thing. The obsession with Israel. When we're talking about foreign countries,
it's hardly an obsession.
You're not talking about Chinese. You're not talking about Japanese. You're not talking about the Brits. You're not talking about the French. The question: what about the Jews? What about the Jews?
Oh, I'm an anti-Semite now.
Senator, you're asking the questions, Tucker.
You're
French,
asking
the English,
why
are
the Jews controlling our foreign policy?
Senator,
that's what you just asked.
Hardly saying that, and I have.
That is exactly
right. I don't think this is the right one, though. Right.
Yeah, but that's the clown ass argument always. I was just saying it earlier. Like, you're not talking about France. Like, what the fuck does France have to do with our foreign policy? Absolutely nothing, dude. Again, I mean, you're talking about, AIPAC. Like how he's just saying, well, I don't know who AIPAC is one of the biggest fucking donors there is, man. Even like Trump, they gave him fucking something, astronomical, like $200 fucking million or something throughout his campaigns. I mean, you know, that's serious fucking money. You know what I mean? Don't tell me that they do that out of the goodness of their heart, that they don't expect fucking favors. And the fact that they're doing it from the president all the way through Congress, the Senate, to fucking, you know, city fucking council, to, you know, state AGs, on and on and on, man.
Right.
You see Ted Cruz right there with his AIPAC donations.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
No.
I don't know the population.
No, that's not it either.
Right, and you ask, dude, when he's like, "Fucking, you're talking about
I came
France.
into
France
Congress
give you fucking
13 years
of
ago
dollars?
with the stated intention of.
Well, I mean, France is a predominantly Muslim country now. You know.
Yeah. Along with New York and Michigan.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught.
Right.
There it is, Sunday school.
All right, so this was the clip that
I based my political career on Sunday school.
Off of fucking verses that I can't even remember.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it, and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Life off that,
Tucker,
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Hey, where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And
what does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Nope. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding?
You're bullshitting.
This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
Like we created.
And he's, is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
And God's referring to in Genesis, he's referring to Abraham, right? And then he says that, you know, through your seed, all nations will be blessed, right? And he's talking about Jesus. He's not talking about fucking Israel, right? So, a little bit of a misinterpretation there, but I understand now why the Schofield Bible was so popular back in the day. Right? But yeah.
I would never ever try to base an argument off of some shit that I can't even explain. And that video I just sent you right there is actually Harry Truman talking about the fucking creation of Israel and how, you know, he's the one that orchestrated it. You know what I mean? The American fucking president. Like this is not the same place, man.
All right, this one's completely unscreened, so if you get us banned, it's your fault this time.
I don't think that decision to recognize Israel is an easy one. I had to make a compromise with the Arabs and divide Palestine. The Jews wanted to chase all the Arabs into the Tigris and Euphrates River, and the Arabs wanted to chase all the Jews into the Red Sea. And what I was trying to do was to find a homeland for the Jews and still be just with the Arabs. We had several other people in the country, even among the Jews, the Zionists particularly, who were against anything that was to be done if they couldn't have the whole of Palestine and everything handed to them on a silver plate so they wouldn't have to do anything. It couldn't be done. We had to take it in small doses. You can't move 5 or 6 million people out of a country and fill it up with 5 or 6 million more and expect both sets of them to be pleased. We had all sorts of objections to everything that was done. Something had to be done. We went ahead and done it and had it done, and now it's working out. Eventually, I think we'll have them all satisfied. Don't think that decision to recognize.
I don't think that worked out, man.
That done. Right, now it's worked out, man. It's all great.
Right.
It's all gravy.
Right. That's an American president telling you. We just created that shit out of fucking thin air, dude. That did
Right.
not exist. You know what I'm saying? And of course, fuck Palestine too. I give two fucks. But I mean, you've seen right there on that map from that time, like they fucking carved up Palestine, dude. You know what I mean? And then as far as geographics and shit like that, the Bible, what fucking you got to know that what 99.7% of it takes place in the area, and fucking you'd think when they keep speaking of Philistine, I mean, come on, dude, right?
Right.
That doesn't. I mean, it's kind of easy to deduce, man.
Right. But yep. So in terms of fucking what was it? The United States being the world boot. So it raises the argument, or of course, the argument that was raised was that obviously Israel couldn't accomplish this. It needed to be the United States because, of course, the United States is far superior than everybody on the face of the fucking earth when it comes to death, right? And ultimately, it's
That's why this is a pure case of the white man keep them down, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they would be better because they don't give a fuck, man. You know what I mean? Suicide missions be damned, son. And that's why they don't want them rich, bro. Anytime they, you said real protection, the saber to rattle. Nope, you can't have that. You know what I mean? Oil refineries and shit. Oh, we're putting fucking restrictions on it, embargoes and fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude,
Right.
come on now.
Right. So in terms of I guess having a large saber to rattle, that's definitely going to be the United States. And I guess when you really do kind of think about it, and not trying to obviously, like I said, we're on the war hawk side over here. When it comes to the actual barbaric nature of this world, I mean, yeah, you could control the economy and all this and that type stuff, and you could do the best trade deals and this and that type shit. But at the end of the day, ultimately, if these motherfuckers over here make really good shit, or these motherfuckers over here have a good amount of fucking oil, or these motherfuckers over here have a good amount of stuff that we really need, I'm gonna go over there and fucking take it because I have a fucking bigger stick than they do.
They need some freedoms.
Right. We need to go fucking introduce them to some freedoms and some fucking, good old American freedom,
Sure.
So of course there's the whole show of strength argument, and of course there's two sides to this. We could use it to either go full neocon, which a lot of the fucking Warhawks and the Lindsey Grahams and over there, people over salivating thinking like
jerking off.
Donald Trump he's joined our side.
Finally. Right. That's what I just kept telling fools. John McCain's proud of you, son.
Right. And then
he's
there's
looking down right now.
And then there's the other sign of Donald Trump using this as a show of strength, which is of course the fact that Donald Trump is literally trying to renegotiate trade with the entire fucking world right now. Yeah, right. That's no small feat. And of course, there's the whole fucking Taco Trump always chickens out, right? Well, this is showing that Donald Trump doesn't chicken out, and at the same time, it shows that he's a man of his word. It shows that when he says that he's going to count to 3, by the time he gets to fucking 3, he's actually going to smack you upside the head. He's not just going to like, ooh, like Donald Trump's. It's basically mob boss Donald Trump move right here, right? It gives him a much bigger bargaining chip when it comes to doing these negotiations across the world. And of course, not trying to say that Donald Trump, if I don't know, if Canada doesn't come up with a good deal with them, because of course that was taken off the table just I think today, right? Yeah. So of course, if Canada doesn't come up with a fucking good deal, it's not like Donald Trump's going to go fucking blow up their warehouses or anything like that, But I mean, nonetheless, you never actually know now, do you? Right?
He doesn't chicken out anyway. I mean, the dude's been drugged through the shit. If he was going to give up or chicken out, it would have been when they were going after his family, costing him fucking hundreds of millions of dollars, dude, trying to take his shit.
Probably would have been right around the time like bullets were whizzing past his fucking head,
That didn't happen, man. He paid someone to do that, bro.
Right? Yep. The argument I always go with that, man, like, oh, really? If I give you $1 billion fucking dollars. Would you let me stand fucking, about 100 yards away and shoot an apple off your head with a pistol using only iron sights? Like, no. Like, what about $2 billion? What about if I give you all of the power in the fucking world, right? No, you wouldn't do it. Yeah, I don't think Donald Trump would either, especially when he's like pulling like fucking 50-50 at that point. Like it's like, it's a bit risky, I mean, I could win, I could lose, but if I do this, I will definitely win, or I could die. I don't think Donald Trump's going to take that risk at all. I don't. If you as a regular fucking person who has, I don't know, next to nothing compared to, what Donald Trump has, or anybody that's running for, leader of the fucking world. If you as a regular fucking person would not do that for the chance to be the leader of the fucking world and have everything in absolute fucking power among all fucking people in all nations, why would Donald Trump do that?
Right.
Right. So yeah, that argument's completely moot. And then at the same time, are you trying to say that fucking Corey Compratore didn't die? Right? I'm gonna have his fucking family sue you for the fucking GDP of France. Tell you what, trying to say that was a hoax? Like, come on, man! I get fucking the people that sued Alex Jones in here on your ass.
Right? You get fucking goddamn old Dracula Newsom, dude. Like he's suing Fox right now, man.
Right.
Yeah, dude, he's trying to get fucking Jesse Waters fired, is what it is, son. Like that's why he's doing it. It's because of Jesse Waters, and it's the same shit that Dominion, when they sued him for defamation, that ultimately got Tucker fired. You know what I mean? It's the same amount, dude. You know what I mean? $728 million, bro. Like if anyone needs to be choked out, it's that guy.
Well, it's okay. They'll just replace him with Brett Cooper.
Right.
Right. Get all the fucking teeny boppers and shit in here. Watching fucking Fox News and shit.
Oh, fucking dude, Dracula Bateman, man.
Right. So what's actually going on with that, man? I didn't hear anything about that. Fucking news scum's fucking suing Fox News.
Yeah, and it's because he's saying that the conversation when the Don called in and was like supposedly like sent over pictures, like screenshots, where Gavin Newsom was claiming that Trump didn't fucking try to contact him before he sent in the National Guard. And Trump even posted the shit on Truth, man, where it was like screenshots where it showed his call log where he fucking not only called several times but talked to him once for like 16 minutes. And he's suing him for defamation. Yeah, he's like fucking suing him for defamation, dude. Jesse Waters, man, for saying that he's a liar and all this shit for $728 million, bro. Hilarious, man. And plus, like, everyone in the country calls you a fucking liar, man. I'm sure most of the people that fucking voted for you fucking call you a liar, son.
Right. I bet you Xi Jinping calls you a fucking liar.
Right.
Yeah.
At least he doesn't call him weak-wristed like he did old fucking Trudeau, bro.
Right. It's gotta be rough if you're trying to be a communist leader somewhere,
Right. You never know what the fuck's real anymore. Of course, now AI is out of control, bro. But the supposed translation for that shit when Gigi's lean over and talking to fucking Trudeau's ear, and he's straight up telling him like, dude, like you're a weak bitch. Like, don't talk to me, man.
Right.
And then he walks away all uncomfortable and stuff. And you know what I mean? It fully fits. Fuck, if it's not what I said, I'd be sad because it fits perfectly.
Right. Right. Yeah, Trudeau just walking away.
All right, rainbow socks.
Walk of shame and shit. Let's see. Okay, so like I say, a lot of the stuff that I wrote down, on the both sides of the thing was before, and one of the arguments was have we gone too far? Right. Because of course the whole thing was like, Iran's some bad people, and they're working on building nukes and stuff like that, and they're an enemy of the United States, and they hate the United States, and they want to see, like, we have enemies all over the fucking world, like, is it going to stop here? Like, we have people that want to see the United States dead all over the fucking world. Are we going to go try and initiate regime change everywhere? Where does it stop, man?
Yeah, we went too far a long time ago, man. You know what I mean? And then places we actually should have stepped in with like, direct trade partners and our own fucking, continental fucking, bridge and whatnot, man, is, it's pretty lax. Like we'll let leaders that actually are America and want to trade with us or beneficial, and they, get fucking, raped out, cooed out, and, we do nothing. But then in situations where it's strictly civil, it doesn't affect us. It's on the other side of the planet. Like, oh, we got to step in there and spend $1 trillion.
Right. Well, so in terms of the amount of spending that we, spend in terms of, the war machine, right? Do you think, I guess, one thing we like to say quite often is the United States, we don't, manufacture, we don't export anything here, all this and that, but ultimately, when you think about it, we export death. We export fucking
Weapons,
regime
man.
change. We export, fucking, changing the fucking world at our whim, and ultimately it's really, like I say, it's because this liberal economic order at which the United States is the spearhead. There's no nation on the world as strong as we are, and the reason for that is because of how much we spend on our military, on weaponry. I mean, all of the other weapons that other nations have, they buy from us. Like we deal fucking death, to the world, and ultimately that does put us in a very, very strong position on the world stage. And ultimately, I think what it boils down to is the morality structure that we have in America. And ultimately, I mean, it's a multifaceted thing, down to, family structure, stuff in the home, stuff that they're being taught in school, stuff being taking place in the community, national pride, things like that, that really defines whether or not America is a good nation or whether or not America is a corrupt nation. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole that we don't got to go down. But ultimately, I think that fundamentally, America being in charge of the entire world, America being the world boot, compared to anybody else on the face of the earth, I think is a pretty decent thing. You know what I mean? Not saying that I think we should or anything like that, but in terms of the United States being the world police in a sense, do you think that has any sort of impact on reducing global wars or total wars, or basically we're able to step in, and it's like, if they start shooting civilians in the street and shit, like, oh, America's going to step in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you think if America were to remain that world boot, do you think it would help prevent a thing like another world war? Of course, like I say, there's plenty of countries that try to gang up and stuff right now, but nonetheless, we still are able to crush. But do you think that America being the world police it plays a part? Because of course war is going to be kind of a constant in human nature. And do you think basically America being somewhat of a referee, or just kind of like the big brother that just kind of stands back and stuff like that? Not saying that we do that, but ultimately, if that were to be the way that we do things, do you think that would be more beneficial for the world, as opposed to the United States basically just stepping back and fuck off, you guys solve all your own problems?
I think that like obviously it's beneficial as far as a deterrent for like a total war. Does it prevent world wars? No. I mean, ultimately we're almost in one now. I mean, you see, like, what was it? England was just fucking, getting more involved in like the Ukraine shit here recently. And there's and then you have like the Middle East, you got Russia, you got, I mean, it's and China, the only thing that's holding them back is economics at this point.
Right.
They have too many of their fucking trade partners involved in the situation to really fuck themselves. So that's why they do covert shit like the flight into Iran, right? And we don't know what the fuck happened, but we know some very large aircraft flew in and out. I mean, so they, they're involved as well in indirect or direct, and so it's almost at one now. Like you said, it prevents total war because of the escalation of larger weapons, but a lot of these countries again have those too. So I mean, I think that everyone would get fucked up, and that's the real deterrent. I don't have a problem with us policing as far as like trade routes, because of that's the reason that the Marines were created. You know what I mean? And you've seen just recently with the whole Houthi situation, that's always a threat if we don't step into that. And that's obviously our direct benefit if it's, export or import, regardless. We're doing those things. It's commerce, man. That's, what I mean? Keep the fucking dollars rolling. Commerce with all, political entanglements with none. And I think if other countries in, these straits and, trade routes and whatnot want or need that protection, you got to fucking pay for it. That's what, I'm tired of seeing is us doing it out of our fucking pockets. You know
Well,
what I'm
then
saying? I mean,
in which case do you think if I think we've actually had this conversation before, do you think the United States should basically like, you know what, we'll continue living in fucking opulence and we'll fucking produce nothing, and the rest of the world you will all produce and you will pay us to protect you? you think
but
that's a possibility of being a thing? Like, yeah, you want us to protect you, huh? It should be a shame if your neighbor over here were to try and invade have this little bit of a land dispute here with you. Sure, it could be very bloody. Lots of people could die, huh?
right. I mean, that's I mean that's neither here nor there, right? Because ultimately, that's kind of what we've been doing. And
Right.
you see, when it comes to like COVID shit like that, the fact that we rely on China for fucking vitamins and fucking antibiotics and PPE, and then when shit actually goes down, they're like, no, we're saving this for our people, which ultimately is the right thing to do. But then we're fucked because we're relying on them. So, ultimately, that's, the whole part of MAGA is to make ourselves more self-reliant.
Right.
And so, I'd rather be policing some exports rather than just fucking imports.
Right. So yeah, I mean that's
And pay
basically
us
the
cash. Like we need to pay down every fucking bit of it. That's fucking any kind of would-be profit goes directly toward fucking national debt purposes, man. You know what I mean? You could work it out to our advantage, and it would, it would even create more fucking work as far as the military is concerned. And if it's used as strictly a deterrent and not us trying to get involved in foreign affairs, fuck yeah.
Do you think it's more beneficial for the United States to have a nation's cash or to have them in our pocket?
It depends on what they produce, what they bring to the table.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, of course, if it's a semi-powerful country, yeah, you want them in your pocket. They're going to produce valuable goods or what have you that are like rare earth, what have you. Yeah, fuck yeah. But
Right.
someone that's just there, minimal trade, not really some shit that we want, but we're willing to do business. I mean, it's obviously better to just have their cash flowing in, but
Yeah.
at the exchange rate, though. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's not dollar for
You don't
dollar or
want
no
your
shit.
fucking garbage ass fucking whatever this monopoly money is that you guys are
Yeah.
printing off over here, man. You fucking transfer that shit to American, man.
Yeah, I don't want a wheelbarrow of fucking paper to make $10.
Right. But so do you think in terms of other nations starting to kind of join up, China, dropping off stuff in Iran, things like that, do you think again, like I said, just this show of strength has kind of deterred in any sort of way? Because of course, like you were saying, all these other nations and stuff like that, like they have their ways and their means and stuff like that. It's like, dude, like there's nowhere you can hide from the United States. Like you cannot fucking hide, a mile under the ground. We will fucking get you. Like there's nothing you can do to stop the United States once we're on your ass. Basically, like if we, if that's basically kind of the message that this put out.
I mean, definitely to an extent, like as far as like, it's a reminder because people knew we had those. We just don't run
Mm-hmm.
around using them too often. And it's just a reminder of, like you said, man, you can run, but you can't hide. So,
Right. There is
Uh,
nowhere you can go that we will not. We have a fucking space force. Like
yeah,
nowhere in God's creation
yeah.
that you can go where we will not fucking find you.
And I appreciate that we have all this shit and that, we have the ability to just, rattle a country by, doing some minimal shit. But, it's supposed to be used for the protection of the homeland, not, the protection of other people's homelands. Unless,
Right.
again, we're contracting and they're fucking paying us, man.
Right.
Like, we can do business.
Right.
Get a couple dollars.
We're still waiting on them minerals from fucking Ukraine over there, man. I don't know what's going on with them boys.
Well, they're still at war, dude. I mean,
I know.
You know, they're still getting fucked up, and you know, you still hear the heads out here, like, you know, Russia. They, you know, ultimately they can't handle Ukraine. Like, bro, they've been totally fucking reserved. They used the cauldron. They used it for what they wanted. They took the fucking areas they wanted to take, and now they're just hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, keep throwing yourselves in here. I mean, you know, they're seeing the opposite approach that they would normally take, which is just fucking throw numbers until your country's totally depleted.
Right, man. And fucking shit, just what is it? Fucking expend them, man. If I can just keep on sending them.
Right. They're snatching up 60-year-olds and stuff. Go now, get.
Right, fucking mentally ill, all that shit.
You don't know what's real, dude. AI's out of control, bro. That fucking video of the fucking little Down syndrome kid in fatigues crying and stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know, man. I mean, that place is pretty rough these days.
Corrupt shithole.
So what's your thoughts on the whole Gaza piece thing? I haven't really read much about it. Like I said, I just saw a headline, you know, right before we're coming on the show. Have you looked into that at all?
No, it's the same. I just scrolled past the headline, but I'm so sick of hearing about that shit.
Right.
I didn't even fucking stop, man. And you'd like to see it regardless of any kind of support for either side. I have none, but at the same time, you don't want human suffering just for the strength. And you know, they can throw anti-Semite or October 7th is the Holocaust is. I mean, that has nothing to do with what you're currently doing. I mean, if you see and you got to keep repeating it at this point, especially for the uses tubeses, but you don't know what the fuck is real. So, I mean, don't quote it. But I mean, you see these graphs going around that has ages of children from, you know, Gaza that's, you know, died during, you know, this whole situation. And, you know, 10-month-olds. I mean, we're talking thousands more 10-month-olds than people died in 9/11. You know what I mean? And if that's accurate, that's pretty fucking disgusting. I don't give two shits about something that happened 80 years ago or October 7th. I don't give two fucks. You know what I mean? It's not even a comparison at that point. You've killed more babies than people that were killed in your country. Like, what the fuck, man? And, you know, so you'd like to see it. But again, these people have been at war forever, bro. Like, you know, even if it happens, it may last a few weeks, it may last a few years, but it's going to devolve right into it. And from what I've heard anyway, up until this point, is that Israel has every plan on basically taking control of all of Gaza. I don't know about the whole, you know, evacuation, how far that's going to go, but they said that they plan on taking control of it once again. And basically policing it, and you know,
right, turning it into a Trump hotel,
right? Gaza Lago,
right? Yep. Yeah, good times, man. So that was the 12 days war, you guys. It was a great success by Donald Trump. You know, great geopolitical success over there in the Middle East. But again, you know, it's the Middle East. You know, this was a temporary setback to further war in the Middle East, because it's going to happen again. It's just a matter of when, and the reason doesn't really matter at this point. As we said earlier, it's because they attacked us 20 years ago. They attacked us 40 years ago. They attacked us 100 years ago. They attacked us 1,000 years ago. Like, they go back way too far at this point.
On that question though, like, you know, when you hear that kind of shit, like, you know, we know, like, California, for instance, like, Mexico only held it for like 27 years, and now they're like, this is actually fucking Mazatlan or whatever the fuck, right? You know, and at what point do you become part of your country, man? I mean, is it a century? Is it 2 centuries? Is it, you know what I mean? Because I know, you know, like, my family's traced back fucking to the goddamn Mayflower, man. So, like, you know, I'm fucking
send
native,
your ass back to Europe, bro.
Right. Yeah, right. Like, my family's been here centuries. So what
it's funny. It's funny too how like the the Hispanics and the Native Americans and stuff like that like to like this is Native American country and stuff like that. It's like you realize that America is derivative from the name Americo Vespucci, which was he an Italian fucking explorer who basically kind of explored the North and South Americas, and so the continents were named after him. So technically you're not Americans if you want to go back that fucking far in history. You're whatever the fuck you click durkeys called the land before. That's what it was. But no, you guys didn't own America before the colonizers and stuff came. Yeah,
and then plus they were at war all the time. They would conquer each other, take slaves, dude. Fucking, take their chicks. I mean, all the shit that they point at, your people, my people, whatever, for acts centuries ago, they were fucking just as guilty of.
Yep.
Not to mention they turncoated on their own people all the time. I mean, the Indians worked for the French, hunting other Indians and.
I'm sure the Native American tribes before we came, because of course we don't have that much recorded fucking history of what was taking place here beforehand. But I'm pretty sure it was probably about the same fucking same level as the Middle East right now. It's fucking oh no, your fucking tribe invaded my tribe years ago. Your tribe invaded my grandfather's tribe years ago.
Right.
Sure, it was all the same fucking shit. I mean, it's humans we're pretty predictable like that. That's why I say
tribal, possessive, fucking narcissistic, fucking
right.
You just keep going. I've seen it a million times, man.
Well, New York City, they're not going to be very, very possessive very soon because, of course, they're New York City's electing a communist to be the mayor. All right, you want to go ahead and take it away, man? Tell us about fucking Zohran Mamdani.
Right, dude. Don't fuck with the Zohran, dude. Obviously, this is an Islam, a fucking Muslim fucking rapper born in like fucking Uganda. You know what I mean? That's came here 20 years ago when he was 7 and became a citizen 7 years ago. His mom is some type of producer that apparently has worked on some pretty big projects. Basically he's a self-admitted Nepo baby. And has been put in a position of like a city councilman right now at 27, now running for mayor, just won the fucking primaries against old fucking Hans fucking Cuomo. And yeah. And and he's going to be what's his name? Eric fuck is his name, man? The current Adams. Mayor. Yeah, Eric Adams. It's ultimately going to be but those two dudes are fucking, complete communist, and is basically telling you he wants to introduce fucking communist policies and just shining it up a piece like, they're going to have city run fucking grocery stores. I mean, we know how that's worked out all the time, right?
Word lines are great, okay? Okay,
right,
people,
exactly.
People understand this, so that way they could get the bread. Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah, but blatantly saying he's going to impede ICE. He's gonna fucking Trump-proof New York. Shit, and then even talking on like foreign policy, pro-LGBT, which is hilarious, right? And he says, gay safety or rights, something to that effect, equals abolishing the police. I mean, this dude's talking about emptying the prisons, like every fucking communist, tenant that you've heard. This cat's proposing.
Yeah.
And of course, endorsed by AOC.
Let's go ahead and check out some of his rap videos. This guy's a rapper or something.
Go ahead, make rap for your night. Gone through the top to your nutty. If you're really feeling good, spin a track for your nutty. Go ahead, make a rap for your nutty. It's a rap. Get the guap, spin a rack on your nutty. Spin a rack. Gone through, give a dab to your nutty. If you're really feeling good, spin a track for your nutty.
He's clearly a gang member. I don't know if you guys see that one.
Clearly,
what's that hand gesture?
Kook smoker.
Right. Let's just see what else we could find on his reps videos.
That's the fucking the nuclear facilities.
That's enough of that, man. Right. But so anyway, let's just kind of talk about the elephant in the room here. 9/11.
Right, exactly.
So right, so it
Never
wasn't
forget
too long ago. Right, never forgets, you guys. Never forget. I still remember what I was doing on 9/11. You remember what you were doing 9/11? I remember what I was doing.
Yeah, I was running a jackhammer, bro.
I got sent home from school that day, man. I was in trouble.
I got sent home from work day after my birthday, hungover as fuck, dude, running a jackhammer. Boss comes on the job site crying, shut it off, shut it off, shut it off. We're under attack. Go home. Go be with your families.
Like, we got like attacked in New York, man. Like, you think it's gonna bother us over? Like,
I was like, bro, I still got rent, man.
Right. Right. What the fuck am I supposed to do, man? I'm getting no stimulus. That was my thing back then. We weren't that commie yet. But yeah, so I mean, of course, the whole big thing, man, fucking New York went from just 20 some odd years ago getting attacked by some Muslim jihadis, of course, crashing right into the Twin Towers, and then those things came down. Lots of people died. Lots of first responders died. It was a tragic day in America, right? Of course, you all know the aftermath, the war against terror that took place. After that, for the next 20 some odd fucking years. So all conspiracies aside, as to what took place there, they're basically attacked by jihadis, and now they have a fucking a devout Muslim as their mayor.
He's too devout because he's all about the LGBTQ's dinosaurs, dude.
Right, and he's at the same time, man, they're using their enemies, using their enemies to their own advantage.
Right,
and then afterward, we'll throw them off a Trump Tower.
I was gonna say they're gonna have a huge party the fucking night of the election, dude, on top of the highest buildings.
Right.
Right. The Islamization, bro. You got to say that New York went from 90% fucking white to like fucking 40%, and this is the repercussions in the vast majority of the repercussions of legal migration, dude. Right. That's the biggest fucking destroyer of America. Illegal immigration's done enough, but legal has done even more so, because then those people come in, become citizens, and gain seats of power, man.
Right, and then their kids become fucking Vivek Ramaswamy, man. No, I'm just kidding. He's a pretty cool guy, I guess. We don't know about him too much, but
I mean, he wants to push mass fucking legal immigration. So I mean,
he's running for mayor or he's running for governor
of Ohio.
Ohio.
Yep. That's where he's from. That's actually where he was born.
Yeah. But were his parents, man?
No, absolutely not.
And birthright citizenship. All right, let's go on. We're moving on to that one. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
But no. So anyway, yeah, fucking New York City, they might be having a fucking communist mayor. What was the old Dan Bongino fucking adage? Is it bad enough yet? Apparently not, man. Apparently not.
But it is, because fucking you already have people apparently people Googling socialism. So you got all these people voting for him. They didn't even know the actual fucking meaning of socialism. And then on top of that, you have a whole bunch of searches that have skyrocketed, like in Florida and Tennessee, for real estate. And then of course, the futures market there for real estate immediately started fucking, fluctuating and going haywire.
You've even got a bit of a split within the Democrats too, because the Democrats, that they're kind of 50-50. Of course, the younger cohort and all that stuff, they fucking love this guy and shit. Like, yeah, Democrats, socialists, love America. But then the people that actually enjoy winning and stuff like that, they're like, fuck, dude, like, you guys are fucking us up, man. Like, get this guy away from us. Like, no, this is a bad look, man.
Yeah,
And
apparently you have
really
some pretty
is.
big donors that have come out and said that they're willing to pour fucking however much money it takes into a legitimate candidate that can beat this dude. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Just reminds me of fucking, the Batman movies when the Penguin fucking wanted to run for mayor and shit. Like, I feel like that's exactly what's taking place here, except fucking he's a young man, a strapping young man, But so of course, yeah.
Strapping. You've seen that dude. He's weak wrist, bro.
Right. But I mean, compared to fucking Penguin, that dude's fucking, he
Right.
looked like every modern liberal right now out there screaming fucking free Palestine, Dude, there's this great fucking scene from there. I wanted to make a meme out of it where one of the Penguins fucking henchmen or something like that, like when he gets like pissed off and he gets run back down to the sewers and shit. And he's like, "That's it. We're gonna take all the firstborn children and stuff like that, and we're gonna bring them down here and raise them in the sewers, and now they will understand what it's like to to lose their firstborn." And one of the henchmen is like, "Sir, like, can I just say something? Like, you're talking about like taking kids and stuff now, like like I don't know about all that, man." They just fucking shoots him real quick. It's like the modern left, man. You're like, hey man, like I don't know, like I mean, I was all cool with like equality and like gay rights and all that stuff, but I mean, like you're talking about cutting off kids' genitals and stuff now, man. Like I don't know if I'm cool with all this.
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
that's, and the left not only supports exactly what you just said, but then on top of that, you've seen the head of the education board of Illinois, I believe, was just given a speech saying that, people tend to think that teachers believe that they own the kids. Like,
Right.
yes, we
Yeah.
do. And of course, that's the communist adage, right? You get through fucking communism through the kids, man.
Yep.
The
They're
revolution in China,
they're
it's almost
our
all
kids.
fucking kids, right?
Yep. Fucking, they're trying to bring that shit here, and there's a lot of people over here. Fucking cultural revolution in America.
Yeah, your Tim
Yep.
Walls is passing out the red book and shit.
Fucking insane, man. Insane
Yeah.
time living in America. They elected, at least the Democrat Party, elected a. Wait, so then who's Eric Adams running under? Is he an independent now?
No, he's a Democrat, man. This dude's running as a straight up Democratic socialist, just like AOC,
Oh, so
bro.
he's running like third party then, basically.
Yeah.
And the Republican just doesn't have a fucking chance in hell anyway. So they're just kind of like out of the loop, I guess.
Yeah. And, so it was the primaries. So it was all the leftists who were running. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
there's basically nobody for fucking the Republican side. Like you said, they don't even have a shot. You don't even hear the names. You know what I mean?
It's definitely going to be interesting, man. It's kind of weird fucking you're rooting for Eric Adams, like at least he's, he got attacked by his own fucking party. So maybe he's seeing the light a little bit, At least he'll
But
be a little bit more sane.
he made it really weird though. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking, he went from De Blasio, like the true fucking WEF fucking lizard, and then to Eric Adams, and he painted the joint rainbow.
Right. Oh man,
And even that you see now with the kids, dude. Like what was it in Atlanta? They're fucking trying to charge them with hate crimes, felonies, dude. To obviously you could spend up to 20 years in prison for fucking riding fucking scooters on fucking rainbow flags and cutting up rainbow flags. Like you can burn an American flag, that's protected under your free speeches, but you fucking you cut up a rainbow flag and that's a hate crime. You got to do 20 years as a fucking child, bro. Like what the fuck? Absolute clown world, man. And that's where people are trying to, like, with the Trump shit, like woke is dead. You hear all these content creators constantly repeating that line. Like, dude, it's pretty obviously not. You know what I mean?
Right. Here's the video that you were talking about. That's definitely his hate crime.
Right. Those kids deserve a decade in prison at minimum.
Right, but yet they're over there
What
burning
the
American
fuck?
flags all over fucking Los Angeles and shit like that, and fucking
Yeah.
waving foreign flags, and that's not a hate crime. That's free speech. Like, fuck that. I say these kids free speech, man. They're protesting this fucking woke communist fucking gay agenda down their throat. And yeah, I say more fucking power to them, you know? Like, fuck yeah. They should be able to burn those fucking flags, you know?
Absolutely. It makes me want to fucking burn them, dude. You know what I mean? Just on the strength, dude.
Yep.
Fucking kids they deserve no jail time. You know what I mean? Zeros.
Hats off to those kids, man. They did good work there. But,
even if it was some kids like that and they fucking cut up an American flag, no, you don't deserve jail time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Even if it's private property you fucking destroyed, all right, you get a destruction of property charge, a little fucking smack on the wrist, and a $40 fine because that's the maximum that flag costs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Fuck off.
I mean, yep. But yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, being charged as a fucking hate crime, like that's absolutely ridiculous. You know, like, you know, I don't believe in protected classes in any sense. You know, like, I mean, let alone for fucking gays, you know, fucking Jews, you know, people of what's that song, dude? That song always gets stuck in my fucking head all the time. Black and indigenous people of color. Have you heard that song, dude?
No.
Oh man, it's like some fat chick fucking standing in the woods and shit. It's like beating her chest. Like, people of color.
The one that always gets stuck in my head is the old fucking
and queers.
Fuck no, I've never heard that, dude.
Oh man.
The one that always gets me is the old fucking Wayne's, dude. The fucking we're happy and we're singing and we're colored. That shit's great.
I'm about to ruin your fucking brain. If I could find it. Oh, there she is, man. There she is.
Black.
Oh man, this is terrible. If you guys haven't seen this before, look away. This song's ridiculous, man. It gets stuck in my fucking head though, dude, because this is how ridiculous and stupid it is. Right, of course it is, man.
Black and indigenous people of color. Black and indigenous people of color. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Asian American Pacific Islander. Asian American Pacific Islander. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole. We all have a place in this world.
All right, that's enough of that. You could probably pretty much guess how the last, 10 seconds of that goes. Right, man. Yeah, that song gets stuck in my fucking head so much and it pisses me off.
That's terrible.
Man.
That's fucking
it's
terrible.
Pretty catchy though, man.
That's fucking no. Chick needs medication,
if you're just thinking about it, it's like, oh yeah, most definitely, man. But I mean, nonetheless, dude, like that shit will get stuck in your fucking head at times. When you're least expecting it too, you're like, damn it, man. It's on a little walk or something like that. It's like, yeah, it shit sucks, man. But anyway, the fucking Muslims in Maryland sued to allow their kids to opt out of fucking transgender fucking rights and all kinds of this weird LGBTQ stuff that they're trying to say is sex ed or health class, stuff like that, right? It's not about health anymore at this point. I mean, at this point, like, dude, how much time do they actually spend talking about STDs and shit like that as opposed to methodology and stuff like that? But nonetheless, Supreme Court. And butt fucking. But nonetheless, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of these Muslim families, and as it's going to be sweeping the nation before you know it. So basically, they decided that yes, these families can decide to opt their kids out of these sorts of books. Being part of the curriculum or these sorts of talks, these classes, these courses that involve that type of stuff, and they also have a right to know, right? Because that's absolutely fucking ridiculous that they were trying to teach this stuff to children without informing their parents. That's absolutely ridiculous. So now they have that right, and they have the right to opt their kids out of it. So yeah, man, what's obviously, it's a good thing, but what's your thoughts on the whole thing? You got any nuance to bring about it?
I mean, the nuance for me is the fact that who accomplished it, right? Ultimately, it's a good thing. It's healthy for, our children to not be subjected to that fucking cultural Marxist trash. You know what I mean? But ultimately, it's still, some foreign entities that rolled with it, dude. You know what I mean? And you have that all over the inner zones when that popped off, where it's like you see these memes and it's Christians and Muslims together, like, against leftism. Like, I mean, the enemy of my enemy is not my friend, man. And that's my only nuance in it. But ultimately, it's a good thing. I mean, you love to see it. You love to be able to fucking see the fact that parents have control of their kids. The whole fucking we were just speaking on. That I still hate commies. Fucking, it takes a village.
Right.
Like, no, it doesn't. You know what I mean? It takes fucking. Don't get me wrong. We pay for fucking, an education system, even if your kids are done with it, or you don't even have any. You're paying for it ultimately. But homeschooling's a thing, and most of the time, those kids turn out much more fucking intellectual. So, there's that. It doesn't take a village,
Right. Takes a good upbringing.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, man. So what do you think of the fact that like I say, it took a whole bunch of Muslims to basically come through with this to enable yeah, sorry, in order to be able to get it done based off of their religious beliefs and stuff like that. Because of course, as we see constantly here in America, if you try and get things done, oh well, because it's against my Christian beliefs to just, they fucking laugh you out of the fucking, out of the legislature, or out of the courtroom, So what do you think about that whole part of the situation?
Yeah, like I said, that's a hard one to swallow. It's just one more facet of the fact that we've lost our country, man. And that's where, I go with it. And people like to, of course, automatically racism's. It's not even about that. It's the fact that we've lost control of our own shit and we can't even write it because, like you just said, our morals and beliefs are totally tossed to the wayside. No one gives two fucks. You know what I mean? Oh, you're an American. You know what I mean? You've paid taxes your entire life. Your opinion means absolutely nothing. It's true
Right.
taxation without representation. But ultimately, again, good thing. I'm happy to see it, man.
Right. What about the whole people that of course, like we said, obviously, happy to see it and stuff like that, but all the people that are over here doing the whole like, well, fucking, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's like, well, I mean, it's really just on this one fucking subject. It's really just on the idea of fucking teaching their children about gay shit. But at the same time, these people also believe in like fucking arranged child marriages and stuff like that, genital mutilation, fucking, shit. Talk about
Islamization by force. They
right,
believe in fucking, the aspect of let's kill a whole bunch of people. I'll be rewarded in the afterlife type shit. Yeah.
right. It's like we believe in about 1% of things, similarly, and everybody's over here like, man, these fucking Islamists, man, they're getting stuff done where good old Americans couldn't get nothing done. Like they're getting it done real quick. Like, yeah, no.
No, it's just showing you've lost control of your country. You know what I mean? You have no
Right.
stake. Like, again, it's taxation without representation. That you can't get it done because they're like you said, they'll laugh you out of the joint. They're not even going to listen to you. They, you know what I mean?
Yep.
If they even take the case, even if you make it in the courtroom, they could just say it's not grounds. Smile later.
Right. Yep. Fucking. Nope. It's anti-First Amendment. We don't regulate religions around here. Like, oh, hello, Mr. Ahmud Abdabi. Like, welcome. Come on in. Like, let me hear your
Yeah.
case.
But what's crazy is, again, is the content that they're able to get out of right now is obviously disgusting filth. And that video I sent a few seconds ago is a state rep going on about the words of these books being read in chamber. And you see these videos all the time, school boards, all this shit. Parents will be removed from reading out of the book. But yet they continue to push the fact that not only is it suitable for your child, but it should be requisite.
Right. And taught by a fucking stranger, granted, yeah, they get to know their teacher and stuff like that. But I mean, that's nothing. That's it. Like you were talking about earlier, how these teachers like to oh, these are my kids and stuff like that. Like, no, they're not, bitch. Like, back the fuck off. Like you're there to teach them their fucking ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and shit like that. You're not here to push your ideology, your beliefs, and your moral worldview onto my children. Like, that's not your job at all. So I mean, yeah. But let's go ahead and check out this video real quick.
Before you play it, though, you got to remember, this is not satire. This is fucking real.
Well, I will tell you that in my 18 years here today, I never seen the demonstration of such vulgarity tonight, reaching the lowest level that I've ever seen in this chamber. When we're talking about books in libraries, that's one thing. You could just mention a book, a title of a book, maybe where they are, maybe they should look into their books, but to actually repeat the vulgarity that's in them on this floor is something that we should never hear. Who does that? I'm so taken aback, so offended. I wasn't raised like that. And I certainly didn't come here to hear it. Mr. Speaker, again, I would really respect all the views of everybody who rejected this document in front of them, but certainly we don't have to stoop to those levels to disagree. And I won't go any further because in the way I feel, I don't want to duplicate the just filth that was sputtered and put out on this floor earlier today.
The way that they act shocked, like
ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, it's fascism to fucking opt your kid out. You know what I mean? It's fascism to not want this in elementary schools. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people, man?
Where to begin, man? Where to begin? Yep. Yeah, dude, I was watching some CNN people and shit like that, and they're over there bitching about like, oh, well, if you allow the kids to start doing this and stuff like that, it's going to impact their learning and all that type of stuff because they're going to be separated from the class at certain points and stuff like that. Oh, they're probably going to have to miss certain days of school and all that type of stuff. It's like, motherfucker, you guys shut down the schools for fucking years for a case of the fucking sniffles,
Right.
And now you're going to fucking like, oh no, it's absolutely imperative that they are at school for this, sexual, stimulation, methodology classes, yeah, it's absolutely important that they get there. So that way they could learn to be more accepting and more, sensitive to other people's lifestyles and desires and stuff like that. Like, no, dude, like my kid can't fucking read. Like, my kid's fucking 13 years old and they're reading at a fucking second grade level. Like, no, my kid doesn't need to be learning about fucking oral sex and butt plugs right now. Like, my kid still can't fucking recite their ABCs without having to fucking look it up. Like, this is a problem here. Fucking A.
Fuck yeah. I feel blessed for the fact that I feel like my kids were, some of the last unspoiled generation. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. Shit, that's why I'm trying to, I'm hoping fucking, stuff like this, fucking school choice and stuff like that goes through, because I'm trying to send my kids to somewhere that I'm able to actually go and vet and, talk to the people, maybe send them to a fucking Christian academy, something like that, like that'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
See, I grew up in public school. I don't know how any of that stuff goes. I've only heard horror stories about it, but at the same time, the only people that I've heard horror stories about it are people that were all fucking strung out on drugs and shit like that. And they're like, yeah, they tried to raise me in like Christian school. You know, it's like, yeah, apparently you're just one of the people it didn't work on. You know, I'm pretty sure you went to school with a lot of people that are very successful right now. Just you're not one of them.
The academies are definitely the way to go, man. That's they tend to have like a basis or whatnot, tend to have like a 30 to 40% higher average test score, man. So they're doing something right with way less per student.
Right. So I mean, yeah, dude, there's definitely something to it. So I'm hoping stuff like that ends up coming through. And so that way I'm able to, if I can actually look into the curriculum, hopefully they don't teach my kids about butt plugs and shit like that, I don't think that was in the Bible, man. I'm pretty sure they're not going to include that course.
Definitely not, man. I mean, it might hear about Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right. You know what they tried to do to those angels over there. Angels fucking came down and they're like, oh shit, I wonder what it'd be like to put my dick in one of them. Like, fucking A, destroy this place right. Now. Like, read the Bible, guys. That's what actually fucking happened. Like, yep, that's destroy this place now. Like, fucking nope, that place is gone. This place is California or something, man.
Lot could have fucking him and his fam could have made it, dude.
Right?
But always a fucking woman, man.
Right.
Fuck.
Just can't trust, man.
Don't listen, man.
Right? They never listen.
Right. So what about fucking Kilmore, dude?
All right, you want to go to Kilmore real quick?
Yep.
So go on and give us the saga of Kilmore real quick. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some water.
Of course, the Maryland Manses, right? The fucking they always choose the worst mascots for their fucking leftist team, and you got a dude that's MS-13, regardless of the tattoos are on reals, and a human smuggler, and then deported. He had a deportation order, but anywhere except for home because of the gangs in fucking a totally different country. A gang. Just think, a gang member is scared of violence, and So anyway, he had the deportation order. Trump comes in, deports him. The left melts down and flies down repeatedly to have margaritas with the guy. Just bring him home. It's about his due process. And they warned repeatedly. The only due process that's owed is a look into the country of origin, and has the violence is the aspect chilled. Yep. Okay. You're up on out of here. Well, they brought him back to face charges for the human trafficking. I mean, obviously just for the show, because now they've announced that they're going to go ahead and deport him to a third country, which apparently they just worked out the deal and got it okayed through the Supreme Court to be able to do mass deportations, not only to third countries, but to South Sudan, where the yearly fucking income is on average about 310 American dollars. So, you thought it was fucking shitty in Mexico, dude, or, fucking,
At least you guys have fucking drugs and prostitutes, man. Like, fuck, the drugs and prostitutes there, you don't want them, man.
Yeah, pretty high number of, the diseases you don't want to get, man. Like a fucking 2 out of 4 type situation. It's a fucking crapshoot every time. But yeah, so and you're not hearing nothing from the left about it because ultimately he came and got his due process, man. Their talking points removed, and all they can do is continue to fucking burn California.
Well, it doesn't matter because that's actually just become their war cry now is due process. Despite the due process taking place, now they're just gonna like he made a mistake. You didn't give him his due process. That's their thing now. It's due process.
It's crazy how they just blatantly move from criminal to criminal to corrupt country to corrupt country. You know what I mean? They're flying a Ukraine flag. They're flying a Palestinian flag. They're flying an Iranian flag. You know what I mean? It's fucking George Floyd. It's fucking, you know what I mean? It's, kill more. I mean, on and on.
Yep. That's why ultimately, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think the ultimate factor that's going to solidify Donald Trump and what he's done for America is going to be results, man. Because ultimately, the media is never going to report him in a good light, no matter what he does. Whether he brings fucking peace and ends Iran's nuclear program, in the Middle East, or whether or not he's deporting criminals and actually giving them their due process and even bringing them back on our fucking dime to give them more due process and send them back to another place and negotiating deals and all this and that other type shit. They're always going to report it negatively. So I mean, ultimately, the best thing that he could do is get results, because when people actually get results, they're not going to give a shit. It's basically people are going to vote with how things are going in their pocketbook. They're going to start noticing like, oh, okay, jobs are starting to pay more now. Of course, inflation, that's its own thing. It's not going down, anything like that. I mean, certain prices and stuff like that may start to go down of certain things, based off of how much more we start to produce here domestically. But of course, like I said, once things start to take off economically here on the domestic front, that's when people are going to start to actually, notice and actually think that Donald Trump's doing something good. And then at that point, they're going to realize like, well, Donald Trump can't be as crazy as, the mainstream media is making him out to be. In which case the mainstream media and the leftist fucking ideologues are just going to continue fucking shoveling their own graves as, the public starts to notice more and more like, yeah, these people are full of shit. Like these people are just kids throwing a fucking temper tantrum that have absolutely no sense of direction, no sense of where they want to take the country, anything like that. All that they can do is scream, orange man bad, and that's what that's how they're gonna die.
But the aspect that the one functioning branch obviously is SCOTUS, man, and along with the okay to deport to third-party countries, you also have them just cutting off the fucking circuit judges at the knees today. Basically, no more fucking nationwide injunctions. It's only about the parties or states involved. So like it's opened the floodgates for so many other things to take place for those changes to fucking happen. And one of those obviously is cutting off birthright citizenship, being able to go through with the mass federal fucking firings, cutting off funding for all the LGBTQ bullshit and fucking dedicated dollars, DEI programs, all that stuff's all going to be fucking, wiped out as far as the federal government's aspect. So, it's all culminating, man. I mean, it's only been 6 months. We'll see where it can go. Fuck, dude, we could see some serious shit happen in the next 3 years.
Right. Yep. I mean, yeah, like I said, I was bitching about, earlier about like, none of this stuff's happening. First fucking, thing he gets done as a major win is fucking war in the Middle East. It's so, but ultimately, yeah, he's still got plenty more time. Who knows, dude? Maybe he's gonna be able to push these cuts through, or these firings and stuff like that, which of course is going to result in cuts, or just kind of surplus in certain spending that's already been partitioned and acclimated and stuff like that. In which case, dude, fucking throw that shit back in, and dude, fuck, man, like that will produce some results. Yeah. And I think that's
fire up the machine, dude. How they're like people won't work in factories no more. Like, bro, I mean, I work outside right now. I make fat cash, but if they were like, hey, you could come make fatter cash to sit in this building, it's fucking okay. I'll go hang out in the AC and assemble shit for fucking dollars, man. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And I mean, obviously, I'm one of them cats. I'll be working till I'm fucking dead. So, some AC be nice sometimes.
Let's see. When was the last time the U.S. debt went down? The last time the U.S. federal debt actually decreased was in 1835 during President Andrew Jackson's administration. This occurred after a period of strong economic growth and reduced government spending. It was the only time in U.S. history that the country was completely debt-free. Since 1835, dude. So if Donald Trump even moves the fucking needle back on our debt $1, he will be the most economically successful president in American history. Like, that's saying something,
insane.
you know. Like
Even like the Democrats, they like to, they like to tote Bill Clinton. They say he had a surplus. Like the dude is actually counting fucking Social Security among that surplus. There was no real surplus. Debt was added. How do you have a surplus if you know what I mean? Like, how do you have cash in the bank if you're fucking, adding billions of dollars of debt monthly? Like that's not Rouse.
Right. I mean, we have a surplus of credit now. Yeah. Fuck, man.
I don't know if this dude's restarting. This should.
That was weird. Studio just
good on there, dude.
Yeah, studio just kicked me out for a second, man. They decided that we needed to switch places.
They love that.
Right?
That's what time it is.
I can switcheroo. But yeah, man, dude, if Donald Trump's able to fucking like say if he's able to cut a lot of these jobs and just save a lot of this these fucking salaries and stuff like that of these people that are just wasting the government taxpayer dime and shit like that, dude, I think that'd be a historic economic win for Trump.
Yep, and I want to go a step further and commit to the left's fucking favorite form of fascism, which is while they're in power, they constantly float the idea of packing the Supreme Court. I think that Trump should just do it. He should just nominate like 40 20-year-olds.
All MAGA as fucking shit. Yeah.
Because at this point, again, that's the only branch that's saving us, man. You know what I mean? It's the only thing that's actually holding the republic together. The Congress is fucking do nothing pieces of shit, no matter what or who's in there. You know what I mean? And that's supposed to be, the branch that moves the fastest, right? The Senate's supposed to be the one that fucking drags their feet and like, well, we got to think this out, guys. You know what I mean? And the Congress can't seem to do shit. And even when they do, the vast majority of the time, it's laughable shit that they know is not going to pass. It's just like a fucking, political theater, man. Like there's too many people that are still involved in, the branches of power in this country that are completely anti-America and surely anti-MAGA.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So fucking speaking of the incompetence of the Congress and the Senate, man. Let's go ahead and talk about the fucking Hearing Protection and Short Act getting fucking ripped out of the fucking the big beautiful bill. So yeah, dude, that's like I say, that's a shame. So what they're basically trying to say is that that this has been basically codified law for some time,
this century,
right? For about a century, and so they're saying that you can't just remove it with a one of these big beautiful bill type things. One of these
so you can do it with a simple majority.
Yeah, but yeah, they're basically trying to say that you can't do it as like part of a package fucking deal. That's basically the thing that they're trying to do.
Package. Yep.
Right, they're trying to like, oh no, that needs to be like its own individual thing, which is bullshit, absolute bullshit. So yeah, it looks like it's being taken out of the big beautiful bill. So, man, what's your thoughts on the rest of the big beautiful bill?
Obviously, they say the call was made by a nonpartisan parliamentarian, right? Like we're not supposed to have a fucking a parliamentary system. That's fucking foreign shit. 1, 2, like nobody is nonpartisan. There's not a single person that is nonpartisan. You know what I mean? And just for the fact that that they acquiesced behind the scenes quietly like that, almost instantaneous upon the calling, like dude, that shows they were not nonpartisan. And and ultimately it's pretty sad, right? Because what we're talking fucking the taxes, we're talking suppressors, right? I mean, there's a whole lot of shit in there that went along with it that it goes along with the Second Amendment, right? These are shall not be infringed, and these are the infringements, and ultimately trying to shake that yoke off. And I've heard that there was Republicans in the Senate that wanted to remove it as well. So, and that's the biggest hurdle, at this point, because we do have the majority, but to pass it by itself, you need you need a couple of Democratic votes.
Yeah. Let's see. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosive processed over 1.37 million NFA registrations in fiscal year 2024. This figure represents the number of forms processed and includes both transfers and registrations of NFA firearms. So 1.37 million times $200. That's basically the tax revenue that would be taken out from taking these couple of items off of the NFA tax thing. So I mean, pretty good little chunk of change, but I mean, nonetheless, it's nothing compared to what the fuck they spend on other shit,
Yeah, I mean, but ultimately we know it's just control mechanisms. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's making you pay them for them to fucking control you. Like, I
Right.
mean, it's pretty fucked up.
Right, the $200 fucking tax stamp's not the fucking problem. All the fucking forms and all the fucking bullshit you have to agree to when you fill out those forms and pay that $200 tax stamp. That's the fucking problem. That's what we want to get rid of. I would like to be able to just go into a fucking a store and fucking pick out a fucking suppressor, show my fucking CCW, and fucking walk out with it. That's the way that it should
Ultimately, this is America. I mean, I think I should be able to walk in and lay my ID down in cash and walk out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I remember as a kid, I mean, you could mail order guns and shit, no problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like fucking in the back of your comic book and shit.
Right.
Get a 22 right now.
Yep. Yeah. All gun control is unconstitutional, you guys.
Absolutely. Shall not be infringed. Every gun law is an infringement.
Right. Right.
Yep. And the fucking NRA is bullshit. They're the ones that help push the fucking whole background stuff. And, they've been selling out your rights since the 1800s. They'd fuck them too.
Yeah, dude, the NRA is the fucking worst, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a corporation. You know what I mean? Like fucking most everything else at this point, solely about turning profits and putting on shows. Charlton Heston at the helm and whatnot. The NRA supports your fucking gun rights. See, we have this actor that played in like gun movies.
Right. Yep. Yeah, fucking But anyway, looks like we ain't getting fucking short-barreled rifles and suppressors, boys. Shitty.
Yep. Yeah, because they won't even try to bring it up by itself. That's the end of it. You won't hear about it anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that fucking blows, man. that's a real punch in the gut, dude. I'll be honest to you, man. Yeah, that's I say what the fuck else is left on the big beautiful bill?
I mean, there's quite a bit of shit, but it's more on a broader scale. It has nothing to do like where it's going to affect, you personally, directly, immediately. You know what I mean? Besides maybe the tax cut. But, obviously the vast majority of that funding is going to go to, military aspects, expanding fucking Space Force even, you know what I mean? Securing the border, hiring more border agents.
Yep.
Like a lot of border technology, fucking, investments in fucking, cobalt processing. Shit like that, dude. Because I mean, obviously they found all these lithium and cobalt deposits here in America, and again for the millionth time, man. I mean, MAGA's about trying to make us as independent as possible. I mean that's the true American spirit right there, man.
Right.
That's what the fucking eagle's supposed to represent.
Yeah.
Independence, freedom,
and eagles.
Right.
Yeah, man. It's like I say, it's just kind of a bummer, man. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, it's like, all right, man, we spent this money for the fucking border patrol. We spent this money for the military. We spent this money on technology. We spent this fucking money on this sector. We spent this money on this sector. It's like, all right, what'd you do for the people? We what do you mean what we do for the people? We spent this money on this people. We spent this money on, like, we spent this money over here. We spent this money over here and this money over here. That's for the people. It's like, you couldn't have just given them fucking suppressors, man. Like, we were even satisfied when
we bombed Iran.
Right. For the people. Yeah. Right. But I mean, like, I remember, right when it passed Congress to the Senate, the SHORT Act was taken out of it. It was just the Hearing Protection Act. And we were even fine with that. We were like, yeah, fuck it. It's something, Then they take out both of them, man. It's like, fuck. Like, if it wasn't for those two, I probably wouldn't even pay attention to what the fucking big beautiful bill was all about,
Yeah, I mean, they're not done. Even like the big ask for the border. I mean, there's talks like, yeah, we want to secure the border, but this is just too much. I mean, what was it, like $800 million or $800 billion rather? You know what I mean? Something crazy.
Yep.
But over an extended period. I mean, these are things, the vast majority of which, the big spending, Trump will already be long gone out of office, man. And that's where, you have people like Massey and Rand standing up saying this is like a debt bomb. You know what I mean? That you won't see until Trump's gone and everyone else is going to be here to deal with this fucking exploding debt.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's my kid's problem, man. It's not. You
take the boomer route. And shit. No, you're not getting this fucking house, man.
Right, fucking assholes, man.
Right.
You guys should just pull up your bootstraps and stuff. You know what I mean? That's why we did back in my day. Rode a bike 2 ways uphill and get to school. The fuck you talking about, Grandpa?
You bought your house for $15,000, man.
Right.
I remember like the house I grew up in Detroit, man. I mean, in the 80s, dude, it was fucking $18,000.
Yep. That's a gone now, man.
You can still buy a house like that in Detroit. It's just a straight piece of shit, man.
Right. You just got to kick all the fucking homeless people out first.
Right. Oh, no, it's a spot. Fools up in there selling crack if they ain't already burned it down.
Right. All right, man. Well, anything else you want to throw in before we roll up out of here?
Dude, the same as always. You have to lean on your state reps, man. Like, if you want to get shit done, crack the fucking whip on do-nothings. You know what I mean? Either that or don't forget, it's election season. It's coming right up, man. Midterms are right around the corner. Fucking let them know, dude.
Right. Yep. Start finding out who your elected officials are. Start finding out whether they're good, whether they need to go. Yeah, man. Start looking into all that shit right now.
Be your own Scott Pressler, man. Just not gay.
Right. Yeah. Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
No butt fucking.
Right. Right. But all right, man. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like this video, share this video out with your friends. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, that's about it, man. We appreciate you stopping by. Like, subscribe, share. Fuck off. Shalom.
Pressure.
Slaloms.
My letters.